Hi, Bill Barney here. Welcome once again to All Things Possible TV. And today we have a great episode for you. I have titled it Angels Among Us. And what I want to share with you today is angels. What is it like to work with angels? How can we do that to help us in our everyday lives as a healer? How do I use angels in my healing practice to work with people? And that's the information I want to share with you today. So stay tuned. Got a lot of good stuff. We're going to have some fun here today. So sometimes we tend to think that angels are stories of the past and the old things, but I can tell you from my personal experience that absolutely is not the case. I literally work with angels each and every day, and I do it consciously. Now, if you get on the internet, there is a lot of information. Some of it is very conflicting. Everybody has their own view and opinion. Everybody states it as fact. Let me just be clear from the beginning. This is based on, what I am sharing with you today is based on my experience and my personal study and my belief system. And so if that doesn't match exactly with yours, don't get angry. Love me. I love you. I'm just sharing what works for me. And if you find something that I have to share that you resonate with, great, apply it. If you don't, do what works for you. That's all I'm going to say. The rest of this is going to be Bill's experience and what my results have been in working with the angels. So if we go back to some of the old stories about angels would come obviously from the Bible, and we see many miraculous accounts of these angels doing these amazing things and bringing messages and people hearing choruses of angels singing. And yet today, do we see that? And we don't, but I believe that there is much more that goes on with angels, and I believe they're working. They are among us, they're around us all the time, each and every day, but I believe their work goes largely unnoticed. And I have found that there's a whole area of assistance that we can tap into by working with angels, and I want to show you how that's done, or at least what works for me. Now today we are going to be speaking of things of a more spiritual nature. I don't want to necessarily consider religion, because when we talk about religious people, my church versus your church, and it's not that. These are things that are spiritual from the divine, from God above. So that's what we'll be sharing with you. Now, as you have heard about angels, or maybe you've worked with angels, there's a lot of books on angels, but a lot of people love to work with, and they talk about working with specific angels. Gabriel, Michael, Ariel, Raphael, is just to name a few of these angels, and there's many, many more that are mentioned in historical documents. And a lot of people, they petition these angels for, this angel does this kind of thing, that angel does that kind of thing. Well, I believe that angels really do specialize in the kind of work that they do. But for me, I kind of worry that if I say, hey Michael, I need you to help me with this little project, Michael might be busy with a whole other project that is a lot more important than mine. And so I truly believe that angels serve at God's pleasure, that they are serving Him, and when He tells them to help certain of His children with certain things, then they come and work with us. And so my philosophy is, why not go to the boss? Why not go to God, to the divine, and petition the divine and say, God, this is my situation. This is what I'm having a challenge with. This is where I would like some help. Will you please send the appropriate angels to me, instead of call out a certain one by name? Because I think even then we can get into maybe an angel worship type thing. And for me, I believe that angels serve God and His pleasure. A man that I greatly admire is Jeffrey Holland, Jeffrey R. Holland, and he is an ecclesiastical authority in this day and age. And I want to share with you a quote that he had about angels, and I think this really, it doesn't sum up everything about angels, but for the purposes of what I'm sharing with you today, I think this is perfect. So he gives this explanation of what angels do. Allow me to read this. From the beginning down through the centuries, God has used angels as His emissaries in conveying love and concern for His children. Usually such beings are not seen. Sometimes they are, but seen or unseen, they are always near. Sometimes their assignments are very grand and have significance for the whole world. Sometimes the messengers are more private. Occasionally the angelic purpose is to warn, but most often it is to comfort, to provide some some form of merciful attention and guidance in difficult times. And that resonates with me about what angels do. We hear about the grandiose things that are the miracles that happen only occasionally that we hear about. But yet, I believe most of the time they're carrying out simpler, more personal tasks that mean a lot to us. And so I want to share my process of what it's like to work with angels. Now, I am an energy healer. I haven't always spent all my time doing energy healing. For much of my life, I've made my living as a mobile mechanic on heavy equipment. And that means I go out into the field, and I'm the only guy around. And when I go out to these different customers, they'll have me work on machines that it can be a machine that's 40 years old or 4 days old. And so when I go out into the field, I never know what kind of machine I'm going to be working on or what kind of problem it's going to have. Some of these can be very complex, and one person can't be expected to know all of that. And sometimes I can get stumped. And here's what I have done for years, and it just may seem a little bit bizarre to you, but let me share with you. And it works. It has worked for me. So that's what I'm sharing. Is I can get on a machine and get stumped. It can have an electrical problem or hydraulic problem or something. I just can't figure out why it's doing what it's doing. And here's what I do. I stop and I petition the divine. And I say, Dear Lord, dear God, please send me an angel who specializes on this particular piece of equipment with this particular problem. Thank you. And then once the angel's there, I go to work. I'll share a little bit more with you how I petition the angel once I've asked God to send an angel. The language that you speak to him in is very specific. It doesn't have to be specific, but there's a way to speak it to where it empowers the angels to be even more helpful to us. But invariably, within just a few minutes, 5, 10 minutes, whatever it is, sometimes within moments, it's like, well, why don't I try this and why don't I do that? And all at once, I've got a solution to my problem. And I'll say, thank you, angel. Thank you, Lord. And go on about my day. Now that seems very mundane. I mean, we hear of angels helping me fix a mechanical problem. I've done it for years. It's worked time after time. And imagine the different areas in your life. Are you struggling with a relationship? Are you struggling with something at work? With your children? With whatever? How do you help them fix those? How do you get around these things? I believe that if we will petition and ask for angels to come and assist us, we can get so much more done. They really will assist us in the little things. Every single healing session that I do, I begin with a supplication to the divine and ask to please send for this person that I'm doing the session for, guardian angels, ancestors, and special healing angels, as well as those angels who attend and assist me in this work. And I ask that the angels can be there to heal, bless, protect, teach, and guide. I'm very specific about the things that I say in that session. Of course, I ask for other things because I really truly believe that healing takes place through the divine, and we're just a conduit for that. One big thing about angels and petitioning and asking for angels to come and help is agency. That's the key. We know these angels are around us all the time, but yet why don't they just jump in and help us? And I believe many times they're doing things that we never recognize those unseen hands doing. But it has to do with our agency. Agency is one of the greatest gifts, and even God himself will not interfere with agency. I believe this is the answer to a lot of questions. Why do bad things happen to good people? Because bad people have their agency too, and God just can't go in and take everybody's agency away, or this whole system would fall apart. But our agency sometimes is to ask, and I believe that many times there's angels that are just like, come on, let me help you, let me help you. All you got to do is ask and I can help. But they just can't step in and start pushing us around and doing things. Otherwise it becomes like the proverbial little Boy Scout trying to help old ladies cross the street when they don't want to cross the street. They want to go down the sidewalk. But the little guy wants to help, and he just drags them and does what he thinks is best. And that's when we get into helpering and just doing what we think is best to make judgments. And not exactly the same thing, but angels they wait many times to be asked. And I believe it's done through the divine. Types of angels. Now there are many, many types of angels, and I'm not going to profess to try and go through a whole list or even say that I have even a small inkling of the types of angels. But in my healing work, I ask for guardian angels. I believe that each one of us have angels that are available to us when needed, that are specifically assigned to us. They know us intimately. I believe that our ancestors, those who have passed on, qualify as angels, or can qualify as angels, and they can be part of our work. I know that every single session that I do, my dear sweet angel mother, who has passed several years ago, is part, and she's there for that session. She's the one who recently got me involved in the healing arts, and I really sense and have felt her distinct presence many, many times, and I believe that she's there each and every time, even when I don't specifically feel her there. So I believe our ancestors are also the angels that can be available to us, as well as sometimes for a special, for me in the healing processes, just like in the mechanic field, I ask for a caterpillar angel, like yellow equipment caterpillar, not a fuzzy worm. Caterpillar angel to come and help me. But sometimes we need angels who are really good with kidneys or with this type of disease or that or whatever. And I just ask for the special healing angels and let God send whom He determines is the ideal person to come and assist us. Leave it up to them. Let me just share you 2 short stories about angels, and from there I will we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up with just one more bit of information beyond that. So our company is called All Things Possible. And many years ago, when we were setting up this corporation and beginning this company, we talked, Kris and I talked a lot. What should we name the company? What should we name the company? Well, one night, as we was going through this process, I was laying in bed, and I was just thinking of all these different types of names, and I said a prayer. Dear Lord, dear God, please send an angel or angels to me to help me find the perfect name for this company. And it was the strangest, I've never had an experience like this before, exactly like this. But I felt like once the answer was spatially, it was like 2 feet away from my head, and it was above my head and off to the side over here. That's where it felt like the answer came from. I didn't hear a voice, but that's where the answer was. And the answer was 3 words, All Things Possible. Hence, the name of our company is All Things Possible. It really did come from an angel. I asked, and it just clear as can be, and I just felt so right when those words were right out here to the side of me. Kind of strange. That was just the only time I've experienced something like that. Most of the time when I get answers from angels that are helping me, it's just an idea that pops into my head. Do this, try that. But I totally give the credit to the angels. One other experience I'd like to share with you. If our angels can be our ancestors, how they can work for us. Both of my parents are passed. And they are the only angels that I petition that I don't ask God first, because I believe that anytime I say mom or dad, that message gets right to them in the realm that they're in. My daughter decided to go off to Nepal on an adventure. She did it without planning, all alone. I was very concerned about my 20-year-old baby going to Nepal. And I said, Dad, will you please be with her? You know, keep her out of trouble, kind of guide her, help her find what she's looking for there. I just said, I really worried about her. Of course I said my prayers about other things, but I made this petition to my dad who has passed on. And it wasn't about a week later that she called us home on the phone to tell us what she'd been doing. She says, by the way, I saw Grandpa in one of the sacred places I was in, and he looked so much younger than I ever seen him before. Anyway, she didn't know what I was asking for back here, that I had made a petition. But she had saw him, and so to me that was just, hey, it does work what we ask for, and we can work with these in these different ways. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is the angel that we use, or the language that we use to speak to angels. And you can talk to them any way you want, but once I feel that I have an angel after I've requested it that's there to help me with a particular problem, instead of saying, hey, let's go back to a mechanical situation, okay? hey Angel, I need you to help me figure this out because this electrical problem, this thing isn't charging the batteries, I don't know what to do, it's something in the computer or whatever. I will say, hey Angel, thank you for being here. I love you. And I'll explain what I'm working on. This is what I'm working on, this is what I've done, and I think they already know that, but I go through the process. This is what I've done so far. I'm kind of stumped here. But instead of saying, will you help me, I say, thank you for showing me what I need to do next to figure out what the problem is. Thank you for bringing that into my mind, into my heart. Thank you for giving me the ideas. I really, really appreciate you giving me the ideas. Thank you for teaching me what I need to know about this machine. Speak it as though it is already done. I really believe that angels work much by the power of faith, and speaking it as though it is already done empowers them even more to manifest in our lives. And so, again, that's just a little tip. A thing that I found very beneficial is when I'm actually speaking directly to the angels. And, you know, I don't see them, but I sense and I know that they're there. Thank you as though it has already happened, as though you've already done it. In fact, try saying your prayers that way sometime when you're wanting something to happen. Thank Heavenly Father for it. And I believe many times you'll get it faster because it's a way of increasing your belief in the event. And that has a lot to do with empowering the angels to again, manifest even more in our lives. So, hey, I hope this information was valuable to you. If you don't agree with me, that's okay, because I agree with me. All right, if it resonates with you, apply it, put it to the test, try it, see if it works for you. I would like to invite you to go to our website, allthingspossible.biz. Lots of information here about the work that I do, about the work that my wife, Kris, does. And there are some free gifts there. You'll find a click here to get your free gift. So go to our website, check it out, and I'd love to hear from you. All right, thanks for joining us today on All Things Possible TV, and we will see you next time.